We're back. We're taping this on September 1st. Right now the weather is reasonably warm out there because it is toward the end of summer. However, in just a few months, it's going to be cold, really cold. And I promise you there are children out there who will need coats. And somebody here to address that need, well, it's the first time for us, for him, Brian Young with Youth Services of Tulsa. Brian, good to have you, my friend.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me here.
What is it you're trying to accomplish? How many coats do you need?
So we will see about 800 different individuals who are experiencing homelessness throughout the winter season. And these are going to be young people between the ages of 16 and 24. So teens and young adults. And we're trying to gather enough coats so that we can make sure they're warm really before that first cold snap hits.
And I don't think folks realize how desperate the need is. In talking with some of my friends with your organization, I'm finding out it's not easy to live with the fact that so many of these young folks get up every morning, the house is already cold, they come from an impoverished situation, and they have to hit the streets to go to school or go to work at an early age, and they do it without coats.
Absolutely. And we also are working with a large number of young people who are homeless. So they, aren't sheltered at all. So, just having a coat is really a necessity to keep them alive and well.
How does it work? Do you set it up to get the money do you buy the coats, or do you have an agreement with a company that you can buy coats through them and give the kid more buck for the more for the buck than they would normally get? How does that work?
So the great news is that we have really two options. One for folks who are maybe upgrading their own wardrobe and getting a new winter coat for themselves or for their teenagers. They could donate their gently worn used coat, and we can make use of that by getting it to one of our youth. Or if someone would rather make a cash donation, we have an organization that we can work through, where we'll be able to buy really nice, heavy winter coats that young people will feel good about wearing, that will also keep them safe and warm for about $30 a piece. So we'll be able to use cash donations as well. And this year we've got an even more special opportunity. One of our generous donors is offering a matching grant, so the cash donations that come in earmarked for coats, this donor will match those donations so that we can buy double the number of coats.
I'd be willing to buy that person lunch. We need more folks like
amazing.
that. There are a lot of folks out there who realize the need and who can't come forward with a great deal of money. A little bit, and sometimes you get a little bit here, a little bit there, and all of a sudden you got a lot. What can we do to encourage people on the giving end?
I think part of it's just awareness. I think a lot of folks don't understand that there are young people living in our city and our county who are experiencing homelessness as teenagers and young adults. And so once you spread the awareness, people might think twice about leaving coats hanging in their closet that they haven't worn in a couple of seasons. And instead of hanging on to it and letting it gather dust, they would consider donating that to us. Or, knowing that we can get coats at a lower cost than they could, going and buying one from the store, it might make more sense for them that, I don't have a lot of money to spend, but I could donate even $5 or $10, and that could be matched with someone else's money, and they could use that to buy a coat for a youth in need.
It's hard for folks to imagine. We have children in Tulsa, in Claremore, in Bartlesville. We have children right now who are surviving on the streets, and I use that term loosely. They have no place to go. They have no family to turn to. They're just trying to make it day to day. And with winter coming on, these kids have a desperate need.
Absolutely. And we just try really hard to get ahead of the curve. When school starts up, the stores start putting out their fall and winter apparel, which often includes coats. And that's the time when we really need to start working hard and try to get people to think about either donating last year's coat or donating some cash so that we can buy one new for our young people. So yeah, I mean, even though it's hot outside right now, and we're still thinking about summertime in our own day-to-day lives, when we're thinking about filling the needs of these young people who are experiencing life on the streets, it's time to start thinking about what they're going to need when the weather changes.
Brian, let's plug your website so folks know what they can do about going to that to get more information on this. Tell us about your website.
The organization is Youth Services of Tulsa. The website is www.yst.org. If a person would like to donate cash through that website, there's a link on the homepage, or they can go directly to www.yst.org/donate and make a donation there. If someone wants to donate online, there's a special instructions field where they can just type the word coats into that field, and that gift will be earmarked for coats. And then we'll also know that we can match those dollars with our matching gift. Or if they're mailing a check, they can just write coats in the memo field of their check.
I'm sorry, I want to take this. We got maybe 45 seconds. I'd be curious to know, you've been at this long enough. Have you had an opportunity to hear from any of these young folks? Have any of them come back and say, 2 years ago, you saved my life, or a year ago, you helped me through the worst period of my life? Has any of that happened with you?
Not so much with me because I don't provide direct care services, but with the agency, absolutely. We're always trying to kind of close the feedback loop with our young people and make sure that we know that what we're doing is working. And we are always really, really grateful when a young person tells us that, what you did really helped. I was in a bad place, and Youth Services helped me turn that around. And it feels amazing to know that even though things are tough, there's help out there and that we can be part of getting that help to young people in need.
Brian, I hope somebody's keeping a journal, and down the road, someday, somehow, turn that journal into a book of the success rate and the youngsters you help, because the numbers are going to be astounding.
They will. Thank you for letting me be here to talk about it, Sam.
Thank you for coming, my friend, and we'll do this again. That's all the time we have for this get-together of perspectives. I want to thank you for being a part of it, and we'll see you back here next time.